You are stepping into a bedroom, but it isn't just any bedroom. It's certainly not my bedroom on a Tuesday morning with, clean laundry piled on a chair.
Like we've all got that chair.
Right. But in this room, as you walk in, the door closes softly behind you, and the busy, loud, chaotic world outside it gently fades away.
It's an immediate transition.
Exactly. And the very first thing you notice is the quiet. But it isn't a stark, lonely emptiness. It's this calm, really designed stillness.
It's intentional.
Highly intentional. You've got light moving slowly across the room, filtering through these incredibly tall wooden doors and expansive floor-to-ceiling windows. The space around you feels open, it feels breathable, and it feels deeply connected to the natural world.
That's a really wonderful image to start with.
You can open your eyes now, by the way. But that feeling, that specific atmosphere, is exactly what we're exploring today. Welcome to our deep dive.
It perfectly captures the essence of what we're looking at today. It's a sensory experience right from the threshold.
It really is.
It's that immediate shift in your nervous system when you cross from the chaos of the rest of the house into a dedicated sanctuary.
Absolutely. So today we are pulling insights from some really evocative excerpts from an article titled Bedroom Interior, The Art of Restful Design. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Our mission for this deep dive is to explore how a bedroom can be completely transformed. We're talking about taking a space that is so often viewed as purely functional.
Just a place to sleep.
Right, a place where you just happen to keep your bed, your clothes, maybe that rogue laundry basket we talked about, and actually turning it into a genuine, quiet retreat. And we're going to look at how that is achieved through intentional design, specific materials, and the manipulation of light.
What's fascinating here is that we're absolutely not just talking about decorating.
Right.
Because decorating is essentially about filling a space, right?
Right.
You buy things, you put them in corners, you hang up a picture.
Yeah, making it look nice.
Exactly. But what this design philosophy describes is how you actively shape an atmosphere. We're dissecting how a room actually feels to you when you are physically standing in it, rather than just how it looks curated for a photograph.
That's such a crucial distinction.
It's about the psychological and even the physiological response a space can provoke.
Yes. And we're starting right in the center of it all with the bed itself. The way this approach describes the bed honestly made me reconsider my entire setup.
How so?
Well, I'm definitely guilty of treating my bed as just a mattress on a frame, just where I crash at the end of the day. But here, the bed is treated as the anchor of the entire composition.
It sets the tone.
Exactly. It has these generous proportions that actively invite rest, but without overwhelming the room. It's painted as almost a masterpiece, an architectural centerpiece in what's called a gallery of comfort.
A gallery of comfort is such a precise phrase.
It really is.
Because a gallery implies curation, restraint, and extreme care. Every single element around that bed is considered. It's not just furniture, it's the anchor point from which the rest of the room's energy flows.
Exactly. And there's a really specific focus on the headboard in the source material. It's described as rising with quiet confidence, wrapped in a tactile fabric. Now, I read that this soft fabric actively softens the visual weight of all the surrounding materials in the room.
Yes, that's a huge component.
But for someone who isn't an interior designer, what does that actually mean in practice? Like, how does a fabric headboard change the weight of a room compared to, say, a solid, heavy oak headboard?
That's a great question. Visual weight isn't about how physically heavy an object is. It's about how much of your attention it commands, and crucially, how it interacts with light. So hard surfaces like solid wood or metal, they reflect light sharply.
Or they have a glare or a sheen.
Exactly. They feel visually dense, unyielding, and they can be loud to the eye. Tactile fabrics, like a beautifully woven linen or a soft boucle, they absorb light, they diffuse it.
Oh, I see.
So when you place a large fabric-wrapped headboard in the center of a room, it acts almost like a visual sponge. It absorbs the harshness of the surrounding architecture and instantly lowers the visual volume of the space.
That makes so much sense.
It tells your brain this is a soft landing.
A soft landing? I love that. And you pair that softness with evident craftsmanship. There's a real emphasis on the precision of the joinery and the richness of the surfaces.
The subtle details.
Right, when you have interlocking wood joints that are perfectly seamless, it elevates the bed from a utilitarian object into something sculptural. When the daylight touches that wood, the stone, and the fabric, it just hums with quality.
And that sculptural anchor doesn't exist in a vacuum. If the bed is the anchor, The surrounding walls act as the canvas.
The textured canvas.
Yes, it's a highly textured, deeply intentional canvas. The design strategy here heavily relies on contrasting materials to quietly tell a story. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's all about understanding why these textures matter so much to the atmosphere, rather than just, painting a wall a soothing color and calling it a day.
Right, like bringing in exposed brick.
Precisely. You have surfaces revealing the absolute honesty of exposed brick. The irregular, rugged edges of the brick catch shadows as the sun shifts throughout the day.
So the wall literally changes.
Exactly. That gives the wall a dynamic quality. It changes as time passes. It's not a static environment. But you don't want an entire room of just rough brick, because that leans towards an industrial warehouse vibe.
Which isn't exactly restful.
Not at all. So you introduce contrasting layers. You layer in smooth plaster or natural stone.
And those textures add depth and character without competing for your attention. They aren't loud. But I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
I love the idea of exposing brick and bringing in massive slabs of natural stone, but let's be real, most people listening don't have a massive renovation budget or a loft in a historic building.
All right, it sounds very high-end.
Yeah. How does this philosophy of a textured canvas apply to someone living in a standard drywall box apartment?
It's a completely fair point. And the takeaway here isn't that you must buy expensive marble or rip out your drywall to find brick.
Good, because my landlord would not appreciate that.
I'm sure they wouldn't. The core lesson is about the ecosystem of textures. You can achieve this in a standard apartment by introducing contrast on a smaller scale.
Like with textiles.
Yes. If you have smooth painted walls, introduce a heavily textured raw linen curtain or a raw ceramic lamp base. It's about avoiding a flat, uniform visual field. In high-end design, they might use marble to introduce a sense of permanence, with those subtle veins tracing organic, timeless patterns to ground the room.
Right.
You can create that same delicate visual rhythm, which just means giving the eye a pattern to comfortably follow with smaller, accessible moments. The strategy mentions mosaic elements appearing in highly specific localized spots, maybe tucked behind a bedside niche.
Just a touch of it.
Exactly. It's about creating contrast between the rough and the smooth, the matte and the polished. That contrast is what creates the atmosphere.
I really love that perspective because it means anyone can apply this. Thinking about a room's design is kind of like thinking about a balanced ecosystem.
It really is an ecosystem.
For you listening, imagine how these completely contrasting textures interact in your own space. You have the incredibly soft, light-absorbing fabric of your bed leaning right up against the cold, permanent, organic feeling of a stone-side table or a textured wall hanging.
The tension between the materials.
Yeah, exactly. It's that exact tension that creates a profound sense of groundedness. Nothing feels too floaty and nothing feels too heavy. The ecosystem is in perfect balance.
And an ecosystem relies on its foundation. All of that visual balance on the walls doesn't mean much if the physical experience of moving through the room is jarring.
Oh, right.
That brings us to an element that is so often overlooked until you actually step on it: the floor.
Yes. The foundation underfoot. There's such a great observation made about this in the source. It's pointed out that the flooring contributes to the atmosphere in a way that you usually feel long before you consciously notice it.
It's a very tactile experience.
There's a specific highlight on wood planks. They carry this inherent warmth and a subtle softness under your bare feet. Think about that very specific feeling on a cool, quiet morning.
Stepping out of bed.
Exactly. Stepping out of bed onto natural wood instead of something harsh or synthetic, it sets a completely different physiological tone for your entire day.
It's a deeply sensory detail. And just like the walls, the floor utilizes contrast. We see that occasionally stone surfaces appear in selected zones on the floor.
Oh, interesting. So not the whole floor.
Right, just specific zones. These stone sections ground the space with their weight and natural variation. So right beneath your feet, you have this incredibly deliberate balance being struck between the warmth and slight give of the wood and the solidity and thermal mass of the stone.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Okay.
We have the anchor, we have the textured walls, we have the foundation underfoot. But the most transformative element in the entire room is actually completely intangible.
The light.
It's the natural light. We're talking about light pouring through expansive, tall glass openings, those floor-to-ceiling windows and tall wooden doors we imagined at the start. The light actually changes the architectural character of the bedroom as the day progresses.
The choreography of the light described here is quite beautiful. It outlines a distinct chronology of illumination.
Walk us through that chronology.
Well, in the morning, the light is soft, diffuse, and pale. It illuminates the grain of the wooden furniture and casts these gentle highlights across the linen bedding. It's a slow, gentle awakening for the room.
And then by midday, the whole feeling shifts entirely. The space becomes bright and expansive. You get reflections dancing subtly across the polished surfaces, like that marble or stone we talked about earlier.
The matte and polished contrast working with the sun.
Right. It feels energized, but still contained.
Then we reach the evening, which is crucial for a bedroom's primary function. The sunlight lowers, the angle shifts, and it becomes golden.
The golden hour.
Exactly. This golden light slips through the trees outside and fills the room with a calm, amber glow. And this raises an important question. Why does this specific progression matter so much to restful design?
It's not just about aesthetics.
No, it's not just about making the room look cinematic. We're actually talking about circadian lighting.
Okay, let's unpack that because that is fascinating. Circadian lighting.
Right. Humans evolved under the sun. Our biological clocks, our circadian rhythms, are directly tied to the color temperature and intensity of natural light.
Okay.
That pale morning light contains a lot of blue wavelengths that suppresses melatonin and tells your brain to wake up and be alert.
Which is why we shouldn't look at our phones right when we wake up. Or right before bed, rather.
Exactly. Because as the day progresses to evening, the sun's angle changes, the light travels through more of the Earth's atmosphere, and the blue wavelengths are scattered away. What's left is that warm, golden, amber light.
So that golden hour light is actually a biological trigger.
Yes. When your eyes perceive that warm, low-angle light, it signals to your pineal gland to start producing melatonin. It actively prepares the mind and the body for rest.
Wow.
It serves as a visual cue that guides your internal rhythm. So when a room is designed to capture and highlight that specific golden evening light, it is literally acting as a tool for better sleep.
It's syncing your internal rhythm with the rhythm of nature outside the window. That is brilliant.
It's incredibly effective.
But again, if you're listening and thinking, well, I just have one standard-sized window facing a brick alley, you can still mimic this. It's about being aware of how light enters your space, and maybe utilizing sheer curtains to soften harsh midday light, or ensuring your bed is positioned to catch whatever morning light you do get.
Work with what you have.
Exactly, and that deliberate pacing of the room extends right into the furniture choices too. It's clear that we aren't just talking about throwing a bed and a dresser into a room. The designer furniture pieces play a quiet but wildly important role in shaping the experience.
Yes, there's mention of a thoughtfully crafted chair sitting near the window. But it isn't just an empty decorative piece. Its form actively invites a moment of pause.
Right, it's specifically for reading, for reflection, or just for sitting and watching that movement of light outside that we just talked about.
It's functional, but also emotional.
The curved frame of the chair and the carefully chosen upholstery are there to add softness to the rigid architectural lines of the room. It's a functional piece that doubles as a mood setter.
And nearby, there's the presence of a low table or a sculptural decor object. This might seem like a minor styling detail, but it serves a vital psychological function in space planning.
How so?
It introduces a touch of artistic expression that serves as a constant, subtle reminder that the bedroom is not exclusively a utility space for sleep. It's a personal retreat. It gives you a reason to be in the room when you aren't unconscious.
It's a sanctuary for your waking hours just as much as your sleeping ones.
Exactly.
And when those waking hours stretch into the night, the way the room is lit fundamentally changes. We talked about the natural light, the circadian rhythm of the sun, but the artificial lighting is just as intentional.
The transition from day to night.
Right. If we want to get into the mechanics of it, it's all about light layering. The strategy describes a complete shift away from simple, functional, glaring overhead lights.
Absolutely. Overhead lighting is often flat and casts unflattering shadows. It feels interrogative.
Like a hospital room.
Exactly. Instead, what's utilized here is localized, intentional illumination. It's the classic trio of lighting design: ambient, task, and accent lighting.